quarters.
Another great quarter by the Minnesota Gophers. Sophie Hart doing a fantastic job in the post there, maintaining position, keeping the basketball high. The last couple of games, as you can see, with the double-digit scoring.
So we're back underway here at Williams Arena. 65-29, the Gophers lead it. Beretti hits a three right out of the break.
Jackson State running what you call an elevator screen. The two posts up at the three-point line close into a double screen as the guard comes through. I haven't seen one of those in quite some time, but clearly it was successful.
Going with some youth and somewhat inexperienced this season lineup is Plitzowite, as Holloway, Sonano, Johnson, Click, and McKinney, and a back cut from Kennedy Click found space, but she couldn't handle it. Johnson tries her luck and misses everything, and it bounces out of play. Would have been a shot clock violation anyway. And that's the youth and inexperience kind of showing their three freshmen on the court.
Four freshmen. Nehemiah Holloway is a sophomore. You're right. So three freshmen, a sophomore, and a senior here for Dawn Plitzowite.
Kennedy Click in her second year, trying to find her way onto the court a little bit more, has played a lot at the end of these games, as the Gophers have one of the best point differentials in the nation. It's at 25.8 this season, so even though they lost by 20, it was that high already, and their defense has been that good, but a foul there from Tori McKinney.
I had the opportunity to watch Kennedy Click play as a high school player here in the state of Minnesota, and she is a scorer. So we haven't seen much of that yet in her limited minutes as a Gopher, but she has the ability to score often and easily when she's in the ballgame.
Yeah, and these can definitely be some confidence-building minutes for Click, kind of trusting yourself. Parker Fox on the men's side has dealt with those knee injuries. They're not easy to come back from mentally, but she's been strong when she's played this season. And a nice pass from Dilworth inside, finding Cooper.
Jackson State in that full court pressure that they've been doing all game on a made basket. Gophers look like they're doing a nice job of handling the pressure.
A live ball turnover, you mentioned it earlier, not great. And a floater, they can't punish them, but they get the offensive board. Cotton pulls it out, working on a defensive specialist, Ania Holloway. She has been locked down when she's guarded the ball in her 2 seasons at Minnesota, not counting that redshirt year after the injury. Rejected. She shows you why right there.
Just an incredible athlete.
And she gets the bucket on the other end. What a 15 seconds there from the Eden Prairie native. That's my hometown. Got to show out a little bit.
The Eagles of Eden Prairie, right?
Yep. Cotton has it with McKinney defending. She goes from Holloway to McKinney. 2 great defenders, not so much what you want to see. And that'll be nice for the stats. A block and then a pass right to you for the steal. McKinney to her left again. Can't get it to go this time, but will get the harm, and 2 at the line.
Jackson State looks a little bit stagnant here the start of the fourth quarter offensively. They're standing around. I think, again, is it fatigue? Is it the Gophers' defensive pressure? We'll never know, but I'm sure that Coach Margaret Richards wants them to get a little bit more movement and share the basketball here offensively.
Yeah, and Tori McKinney now in double figures in 6 out of the last 7 games that she has started. She started all of those 7 after the Braun injury, but really making a stamp on both ends of the floor for this Gopher squad.
Is playing with such incredible confidence as a true freshman, sliding into the starting lineup. That last possession, we didn't get a chance to talk about it, but she was defending the center for Jackson State. So we've seen her defend the point guard up the court and then also defend in the post.
Dilworth drives right by Click, and a charge is called. Setting the feet down low is Tori McKinney, once again involved on the defensive end.
Another stat that isn't going to show up in the box score, but Tori McKinney sacrificing her body and stepping in and taking that charge for the Minnesota Gophers.
And Coach Plitzowite talked about how much she's been able to slow the game down as a freshman. She shows you why there, being in the right spot at the right time. The Gophers doing everything. 35-point lead on Big Ten Plus. The Gophers were out-rebounded by 19 in the last game against Nebraska, but they've picked up the physicality here today and had an emphasis on getting inside.
They have. Minnesota has 40 points in the paint to Jackson State's 12. Minnesota has done an incredible job of post entry into Sophie Hart, Annika Stewart, Grace Grahalski. They've also done a fabulous job of moving off the basketball and getting those cuts right into the basket.
We get a shot of Don Plitzowite and Coach Jason Jesty, the associate head coach for the Gophers. He talked to us pregame and he mentioned how this team was passive, as we brought up previously, but they have been very aggressive.
They have, and they've been attacking the basketball on every offensive possession.
And speaking of aggression, still full court pressing are the Tigers. Minnesota breaks through it. Sonano left open, a three-pointer is off the rim. Holloway, the offensive rebound, and the finish. Hoop and harm for Holloway.
What a great play by Nehemiah Holloway, pulling in that offensive rebound, keeping it nice and high, dealing with the contact and still finding a way to make the basket.
That's coach tape right there on how you're supposed to finish on the offensive glass.
It absolutely is. Post coaches all over are happy with that replay.
We have the Tigers and Gophers, but the Eagles are representing here tonight. Nia Holloway doing a little bit of everything. Kelsey.
Both teams are continuing to pressure the ball up the court, which is interesting given the gap in the scoring. 72-34, both teams are continuing to utilize energy and pressure the defense up the court.
Kelsey guarded by Click. Got her on her toes and backing up, but she can't hit the shot. And once again, they have to drop back. They do like to press, but that's usually on a stoppage or on a made basket, and weren't able to do so there. McKinney uses the screen from Holloway. Inside to her left and gets the nice roll.
Little dribble hesitation by Tori McKinney. Got the defense on their heels, and then she took advantage with that left-handed layup. For a right-handed player, she does seem to favor her left hand going in for those layups.
Yeah, and that's a nice skill to utilize, and she's tied her career high with 14 points now here tonight.
On 6 of 7 from the field, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists to go along with that career high of 14 points.
Yeah, we mentioned it. She started each of the last 7 games. When her first start was when she scored those 14 points, so thrived right from the beginning, once giving that opportunity for more minutes. Massenet working on Click, gets inside and finishes.
Nice patience by Massenet there offensively, waiting for what she wanted.
The 3 freshmen working out of the press there. Holloway finds Johnson to her left. Thought about pulling up. Dumps it down inside. Sonano can't get the bounce.
Gophers are running a 5-out offense, which they tend to do anytime Sophie Hart is out of the basketball game. Allows any one of their players to stop and post up for a brief moment or cut to the basket.
The Gophers have doubled up the Tigers, a 38-point lead. Beretti steps back. Off the rim, Holloway boards it. Click inside. Johnson takes her own step back, and that time it's the front of the rim. Pushing tempo, Beretti. Once again, stagnant, nothing moving towards the basket. Finally is, after 15 seconds, floated up and off, and a foul is called on the rebound.
I believe the foul will be on Kennedy Click. Doing everything she could to box out a much taller Mbugia player.
Yeah, that's a 5-inch difference. Click listed at 5'11", and Mbugua listed at 6'4", so not so much of a fair matchup in the post. It's an interesting set, 4 across the free throw line. Poked away and then grabbed back, but stepping out of bounds was Cooper.
Nice job by Maggie Sonano recovering, getting her hands all over that basketball on that 1-4 set that Jackson State ran on their baseline out of bounds.
This time Cooper goes alone on the press. Nobody helped. She's calling for it. Click up top, driving downhill, gets inside. Can't get the roll, but it'll go to the line.
I think a little bit of a miscommunication there by the Jackson State Tigers. Not quite sure who they were picking up defensively, allowed Kennedy Click to take advantage and get herself to the free throw line.
Yeah, it's been discombobulated on both ends here in this fourth quarter for Jackson State. They really haven't had to find anything offensively in the first 15 seconds of the shot clock, and there, they thought they were pressing, half of them thought they weren't, and then it becomes the disconnect where Click gets to the rim easily.
Anytime the score is as it is, 74-36 for Minnesota, it can be tough to keep your focus and keep your energy. So we could be seeing a little bit of that from both teams as well.
Click misses both, but gets her own offensive rebound. Drives once again, right to the rim, but an offensive foul is called. Cotton takes the charge, and it's Tiger basketball.
Gophers are in their trademark half-court player-to-player defense. The defense that is ranked 7th nationally this season so far in scoring defense, allowing their opponents to score just 49.8 points per game.
Massenat lost Bryn Senden there and hit the three.
Massenat herself has gotten into double digits, 11 points on 4 of 7 shooting, so a nice night for her.
Bryn Senden checking in for her first action here today. She's the third member of that Wayzata team with Braun and Stewart. She was there at Wayzata High School. Johnson crosses over inside the floater. No good, deflected out of bounds, and it'll be Tigers basketball.
Both teams struggling a little bit here late in the fourth quarter to score.
Yeah, Minnesota, 2 minutes and 45 seconds now without a basket or any points at all. 3:30 to play. Dilworth, free throw line jumper, connects.
Can see what she's capable of. Talia Dilworth, their leading scorer. She now has 15 for the game. She averages about 14 on the season.
Full court pass. Sonano somehow stayed in bounds. Back out, Click for three. Knocks down her first career triple.
Great recovery by Maggie Sonano, finding Bryn Senden. And again, Kennedy Click hitting her first three-pointer as a Minnesota Gopher.
It's gotta feel good for her coming off that knee injury in her first season. And a nice rebound from another freshman, McKenna Johnson. Senden left wide open. They don't find it quick enough. Holloway going to work on Montoya, and the left hand goes.
Great strong post move by Nehemiah Holloway, utilizing her dribble to go somewhere, which is something that posts are taught. If you're gonna dribble, you better make good use of it.
Well, she's finished on the right side through contact and now on the left side as well. She's done a lot on the defensive end. Very good minutes in this fourth quarter from Nia Holloway. Kahn kicks it out. Cooper off the rim, and Johnson gets another rebound. Has one on back-to-back possessions defensively. Stops, but is called for a second offensive foul here today.
Cotton has done a nice job on McKenna Johnson. Active hands, utilizing her body, making it tough for McKenna Johnson to score here tonight.
I know they don't care about it, but we're not going to see Grace Graholski keep the 6-game streak. She's going to end with those 9 points. Those are always the ones just like, Coach, just 1 minute. Give me 60 seconds. I got it. Gophers up by 38, though. So Plitz-White keeping her on the bench. And as we mentioned, tying her career high was Tori McKinney, but she will not get a chance to break that as she's on the bench as well. Poked away. Dilworth opportunistic on the bounce. And Click grabs the board, starring over the center.
Nice job by the Minnesota Gophers tonight. securing both the offensive and the defensive rebounds after they struggled in that loss at Nebraska.
Johnson jabs right around the defender and right to the rack.
Another Minnesota Gopher player who makes scoring look so easy.
Well, we've mentioned it throughout the broadcast, but one of the best defenses in the nation showed you why once again here tonight. 41 points is what Jackson State has on the board. They allow under 50 on average this season. And a foul is called, so going to the line will be Dilworth.
The Gophers have also held Jackson State to just 28% from the field.
Sonato will check out, and Jordan Brooks for the first time will check in. Hasn't gotten as much playing time, has one basket she scored against Louisiana on her one shot this year. Dilworth connects on the first. Brooks a transfer from Cal State Bakersfield. And Dilworth knocks down a pair and will check out. She'll finish with 17 points here tonight to go along with an assist and a rebound. But she's really been their primary scorer, and she showed you why here today.
Yeah, she had a nice game, 17 points. 6 for 6 from the free throw line. Jackson State was 10 of 10 from the free throw line, so a perfect 100% tonight so far from the free throw line.
Brooks, nice job getting on the offensive glass, batting that out to Johnson. Senden uses the screen, kicks it out, click for three. Off the rim. And Jakaila Esco, who checked in for the first time with the rebound. Joy Ma again is on the court as well. And a timeout is called. 24.8 left on the game clock, 24 on the shot clock. And looking to drop one final play is Margaret Richards.
In a game like this, you have to think that Coach Margaret Richards wants to end the game with a made basket to give the team just a good feeling going into this road game, going into the holiday break.
Yeah, and for the Gophers, they got, once again, everybody scoring, and this offense has thrived whenever they've been able to have all 5 scorers contribute.
Especially with their leading scorer, Mara Braun, out for an indefinite amount of time with that foot injury. I think it's a really great sign that the Gophers are able to have a balanced scoring attack from any given player on any given night.
Yeah, they have just two in double figures, but a lot of 8 and 9. So you see just a lot of contributions from everybody. And for McKenna Johnson, she's had a lot of playing time, 25 minutes here today. She has 7 points and 6 rebounds, so a good showing from the freshman.
The freshmen are definitely making their names known here for the Minnesota Gophers. McKenna Johnson, Tori McKinney had a fabulous night, 14 points, 6 of 7 from the field, 4 rebounds, 4 assists.
Yeah, and a little bit of pride here from both these teams. One really wants to get a bucket to go out on a good note, and one wants to keep their name as one of the better defensive teams in the country and get a stop. It's the same thing that happens in football a lot, where you're up by 2 or 3 scores and the other team's just trying to put something together right at the end.
We'll see if Jackson State holds the basketball to get one last shot here. Shot clock and game clock are about lined up and even.
And for Minnesota, they got back on track. They'll be 11-1 this season. And for the Tigers, it's been a struggle. They'll drop to 1-8 and lose their last 7 games. Click in the passing lanes, deflects it out, and now it's got to reset everything for the Tigers on this sideline out of bounds.
Gophers have a little bit of a break here after tonight's game. Their next game isn't until December 20th, so hopefully allow some of the aches and pains to heal, get a little bit of time off, focus on their finals, and go into that game with a win tonight.
Well, we didn't get a 4 for 4. Holloway decided to hold on to that rebound from that final 3. We won't get 4 shots at the buzzer, but the Gophers with a commanding 38-point win here at home and a nice bounce back after that Nebraska loss.
Yeah, and talking to their coaching staff, they had a feeling the Gophers were going to come out with a lot of positive energy tonight after that first loss of the season, and indeed they did. I think right from the opening tip, the Gophers secured their place defensively, right? We know they are an incredible defensive team, as Coach Don Plitzowite's teams typically are. Her teams pride themselves in both their half-court player-to-player defense and their ability to limit turnovers and control the basketball, and we saw that once again tonight with the Minnesota Gophers.
Yeah, and Coach Blitzwhite heading over to talk to the Barnyard and thanking them for their support along with the band as the Gophers are improving to 11-1 here tonight. A great start to this season.
We talked about the balanced scoring. Tori McKinney with 14, Mallory Heyer with 12, Grace Graholski with 9, Annika Stewart and Amaya Battle both with 8, along with Sophie Hart with 8 points as well. Everyone getting rebounds. I thought Nehemiah Holloway did a nice job coming off the bench tonight for the Gophers, both defensively and offensively.
Yeah, and the Gophers, like we've mentioned, got it from everywhere all night long. And even though they played a lot of players who hadn't had a lot of experience, they got them some here tonight, and they played really well. As you mentioned, Kennedy Click knocked down her first 3.
Good thing about this season so far for the Gophers, 11-1, is Coach Dawn Blitzwhite has played her bench quite a bit. So going into that Big Ten conference play, she has hopefully a lot of confidence in her bench players. She has a lot of different lineups that she can go to, and she's got some freshmen that have done a fantastic job early in the season, especially Tori McKinney.
Yeah, with one game of the non-conference schedule to play, it's not often you see one game where there's just 8 made threes in the 2024 era that we are in, where it's launched from the three-point line. But these two teams took kind of a different approach here today.
They did, and again, just a fantastic job by the Minnesota Gophers to get back to the basics, get back to the style of play that they like to play after that first loss of the season that they experienced this past weekend at Nebraska.
And with that, for the final time, we'll get to the third member of our crew, Sanaya Bates, who's standing alongside the leading scorer, Tori McKinney.
All right, we're here with Tori McKinney. You guys looked amazing out there today. So you came off of a loss on the road with Nebraska, and you guys had a 10-0 run, but that was ended on Sunday. So what was it like coming back onto the court today? What was your mindset coming back into the game?
I think for this game especially, we kind of just need to focus on ourselves and get back to playing our game. Obviously, going over to Nebraska was super tough, but it honestly helped us and just motivated us to continue to work.
And then I got to chat with one of your coaches, Jason Jeske, and he said that you guys would display some really great body language and communication, and that's exactly what we saw tonight. So could you tell me a little bit about how you guys keep up your synergy on the court?
Yeah, I would just say our energy starts from the bench. I would say our bench gives us great energy, how we're playing, and we kind of feed off of that. So when they get going, we get going too, and then it's just kind of contagious.
And then you were just a focal point player tonight. You were moving the ball around. You were playing great defensively and offensively. What's something you want to highlight that you've been working on this season?
I would just say gaining my confidence, but I think my team goes big with that because they just give me the confidence to continue to do what I'm doing. So it's just like trying new things out, but it's all because of them, basically.
All right, thank you so much.